So we did a book talk on Marcello in the Real World by Francisco X. Stork, and it's a young adult/realistic fiction novel.
A short summary. Marcelo Sandoval is the main character, and he is a 17-year-old with a condition similar in a way to Asperger's syndrome, and he's been living a life fairly sheltered from the real world. During summer, his father, Arturo, a successful lawyer, gives him a decision: either work at the law firm or go to the normal Oak Ridge High School. When Marcelo gets to the law firm, the firm is currently in the middle of a case, and Marcelo discovers that his father's company is hiding the evidence that could allow the girl to have surgery to reconstruct her face in the middle of the case. And he's faced with a decision to possibly ruin his father's career and his chances of going to Patterson, but do the right thing or forget about it all. Our opinions on the plot and characters. Marcelo, the main character, and many times he's underestimated because of a disability, but in turn, he's actually quite smart and has own sense of how the world works. He has many philosophical thoughts about nearly everything he encounters. Jasmine becomes Marcelo's immediate supervisor when Marcelo becomes working at the field for a law firm. Though in the beginning she showed some dislike for him, they come to be quite close over time. We loved her sardonic sense of slightly dark humor and believed that she and Marcelo work well together. Wendell Holmes is extremely fascinated by money and girls, and only befriends Marcelo in order to get closer to Jasmine and go out with her, and for his own personal gains in the firm. The plot was a bit convoluted and jumped around between a couple of major problems in the story, which got a bit hard to understand at times. You really have to read this with a bit of an open mind and be able to learn from the plot and from the characters.
What we agreed and disagreed on. So,
yeah, you go.
Was Arturo being a good father to Marcelo when he kind of forced him into the real world and the law firm? So I believe that he was being a good father, because in doing so, he just wanted to protect his son and make it easier to transition into the real world. And he also needed to do this for Marcelo, because he may have never been seeing the real world, and some people, when they actually see the wrong after living such a sheltered life, they kind of fall apart.
And I strongly believe that Arturo kind of forced Marcelo into corner where he either had to go to public school, which he definitely didn't want, or either go to law firm, which Marcelo definitely did not want either. What we definitely agreed on. Wendell was a complete jerk to Marcelo, Jasmine, and almost everyone in the story. We really hated him. We loved that Jasmine was able to actually understand Marcelo and look past his disability to see the real him. And it's the quote I chose. That's what faith is, isn't it? Following the music when we don't hear it. I chose the quote because mostly because of its simple beauty. Francisco X. Stork, the author, chose music and faith together as using it as an analogy to compare two things that aren't usually compared, and that's basically why I really like it.
And so my quote was, "How is it her suffering that touched me, Father? I feel connected to her through my father's actions. I feel an obligation to right my father's wrong. But why? Shouldn't my father's welfare come first? His welfare is my welfare. How does one-way love for a parent against the urge to help someone in need? I feel like what is right should be done no matter what. This lack of doubt makes me feel inhuman. But it is not a question of my head for once. I hear the right note. I recognize the wrong note. Maybe the right action is a lake like this one, green and quiet and deep." So I love this quote because it clearly illustrates how this book can probe your mind and make you actually really question life. And I love books that do this to you. And this book was full of tough situation, and this quote also made me feel so much emotion. And it shows how people don't always do what's considered right, but that doesn't mean that you have to do the same thing. And it also showed how strong Marcelo is, even though he has evident weaknesses.
The theme. The real world is not things we see in movies or read in books. You really don't know who to befriend and who to trust, because one day they might just turn their backs on you suddenly, and you won't expect it at all. Many times people you used to trust might suddenly turn their backs to you, and you can't be shocked about that, because that's life. And we think the theme mostly is about how choosing the right choice can even seem wrong to yourself, and come with large sacrifices, but in the end you must persevere and stick to your beliefs.
And so connections we made to real life is that how we connected this to the real world. Arturo, Marcelo's dad, had not wanted to admit on Benjamin's behalf that it was their fault Excel's face was like that, because he wanted to save money, and he was driven by it, like many people in today's world. Money can cloud people's visions of what's right and wrong. And today's world, when people compete a lot, it becomes harder to do so. And also, there's a lot of situations here that are like real life.
We highly recommend this book, of course, because it definitely made us both feel a lot of emotion. And it's one of those books that will pull out your heartstrings, and it will definitely actually leave a long-lasting impression on your life. And both of us thought this was a beautiful told story, and that flowed really well. do recommend it to some more of our mature peers because it does deal with some serious and complicated issues, which can be a bit hard to understand, and there's some mentioning of inappropriate stuff, and some people have trouble looking past that to the real point of the novel.
So thank you for watching, and here's our works cited and our credits. Bye.
Thank you.